nearlydanish.com.
All right. It's recording. Yes. Next one. All right. So in the 1970s, there were several grassroots movements that started, and one of them was against nuclear weapons and nuclear power. All right. How many people got this wrong? 30 plus 13 is 43 people got this wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
This is a frequently asked question. So every single one of these questions is a frequently asked question, which means that it has a high probability of showing up on the next test. There's about 200 of them, and you must know the answers to every single one of them. Next one. All right, you've heard me talk about this guy, Thorvald Stauning, first Social Democratic Prime Minister elected in 1924. And that was also the year that he appointed the first female minister, Nina Bang. All right, next one. All right. As a child, you have to be, well, not as a child, you have to be at least 13 years old in Denmark to work outside the home. Otherwise, it's illegal. 42 people got this wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Fix that. It will appear on your profile. Next one. You talked about this already. All right, round of applause. So in Denmark, power is split three ways. There's the executive power, legislative power, and judiciary. And the judiciary power lies with the courts. The legislative is shared between the government and the parliament, and the executive power is with the government. On to the next one. I think you guys have seen this before. Well, let's see how you do. All right. So the co-op movement, Andelsbevægelsen, started in the second half of the 1800s. And that's this, basically it's the co-op movement where farmers pooled their resources to give them more power, more buying power, more selling power in terms of like fixing prices and whatnot. Arla is one of the, well, it's one of the oldest co-op run organizations, and it's still in existence till today. So 28 people got this wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Remember that you must know the answers to every single one of these questions. Sugar Glider just had the highest answer streak of 5. That's a perfect score.
Perfect score.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. All right, only 9 people got this wrong. NATO is a defense alliance. Denmark joined NATO in 1949. Next one. Fate moved up a notch. 8 players just hit an answer streak of 5.
Excellent.
Uh-oh.
Let's see how you guys do. Christian IV, he built the Stock Exchange and the Round Tower, as well as some other buildings. Christians, what's the name of that church? Anyways, yeah, frequently asked question. He is Denmark's most, arguably most famous king, most notable, because of his love for art and architecture. So you can still see the effects of his influence on this Danish, well, Copenhagen skyline. All right, on to the next one. Someone failed that.
Now you know what you don't know.
Talked about this already. Right, this is a weak spot for you guys. Okay, so 1864, the Second Schleswig War. And Denmark lost that war and lost Sønderjylland as a result of that. In 1920, Denmark reunited with Sønderjylland. And that's because the Germans lost that war, and they signed an agreement, can't remember what it was called. And one of the things in the agreement was that Denmark would get their territory back, or at least parts of it. On to the next one. All right. Static top 5.
Static top 5.
Karen Blixen wrote The African Farm. 15 people got that wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Static top 5 again.
Static top 5.
Logan is the highest climber, up 9 places. We talked about this. So most of you should know the answer to this already. Wow. Okay, so 61 people got this wrong. So, in Denmark, there is no minimum wage. Okay. So if there's no minimum wage, how are the wages decided in Denmark? The wages are decided in Denmark through something called collective bargaining. So it's called collective overenskomster. Now, how does that work? So there are two organizations. One organization represents the workers, and one organization represents the employees. The name of the organization that represents the workers is called FH. So Fagbevægelsens whole organization. And the name of the organization that represents the workers is called DA. So Dansk Arbejdsgivernes Organization. And they come together and they negotiate. So they go back and forth until they decide, okay, this is what we're going to pay. This is what we're willing to pay, and la-di-da-di-da. And that's how the wages are set. And of course, these bargaining sessions are held in all the different sectors of the economy. This is a weak spot for you guys. I hope that explanation made sense.
Now you know what you don't know.
You're probably going to see this question again at some point. On to the next one. Of course, the answer is yes. Next one. Static top 5.
Static top 5.
Okay. So this is another weak spot. So Poul Schlüter was the only, or has been the only, prime minister from the Conservative People's Party in Denmark. And he was in power for like 11 years, 82 to 93. And during his time, he turned around the Danish economy. He was quite famous, actually. I think he died recently. But anyways,
Now you know what you don't know.
more than half of you got this wrong. So exactly 70 people got this wrong. Sorry, guys. But it's better to get it wrong in these cahoots than to get it wrong in the actual test. So now you know what you don't know. Next one. Andre is now in the top 5. All right, 23 people got this wrong. So the public can come in and observe all the meetings happening in Parliament. That's what this question is about. Next one.
Now you know what you don't know.
All right, round of applause. Next one. Okay, this is actually way more people got this wrong than I thought would. All right, so in Denmark, you don't have an obligation to vote. So voting is not one of the obligations that you have. So when there's an election, whether it's the Folketing elections or the regional and communal elections or the European Parliament elections, you don't have an obligation to vote. So you don't have to vote. You decide whether or not you want to vote. All right, going on to the next one. All right. Denmark was invaded by the Germans on the 9th of April, 1940. 23 people got that wrong. Get it right next time. Your mistakes. So all of your mistakes will show up on your profile, and then you can correct those mistakes. All right. Next one. All right, so most of you got this right. Well done.
Excellent.
12 people got that wrong. So when Germany invaded Denmark, they didn't overthrow the government. Instead, they basically forced the government to work in partnership with them. And that was different from what they did in many other countries where they just went there and overthrew everybody. All right, we have a static top 5.
Static top 5.
9 players have reached an answer streak of 18. That's a perfect score.
Perfect score.
Round of applause. All right. So how are laws either approved or rejected? So the government is usually the one that makes law proposals. So in these law proposals, you have to draft a document and put everything in there. And then these law proposals are taken to the parliament, where they are either approved or rejected. And I think so Parliament has to vote. So there's 3 voting sessions, right? And after those 3 voting sessions, the law is either approved or rejected. That's what this question is about. So 36 people got this wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Current affairs questions will start this week. Relax, okay? Don't worry about that. Just participate. Okay. Jensemann is holding that number 1 spot tight. All right, so the legal age in Denmark is 18. So 15 of you got this wrong. Get it right next time. Static top 5.
Static top 5.
We have Jensemann, Bell 29, 2025, Milad, and Margaret. 16 players just reached an answer streak of 7.
Great job.
Next one. So Denmark was neutral during the First World War. The pin code is on the screen at the bottom of the screen, Imran. All right. Same static top 5. On to the next one. All right, so majority of the Jewish people that were living in Denmark during the Second World War were moved to Sweden. On to the next one. Static top 5 yet again.
Static top 5.
We're getting to the halfway point now. All right, so it's both the mother and the father. 6 people got that wrong. Gets it right. This top 5 is not budging. Ben is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. Everyone should know the answer to this. Amalienborg. 15 people got that wrong. Wow. This top 5 is not budging.
Wow!
Corneliu is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
Oh my! He's on fire!
We are past the halfway point now. Jørn Utzon is he designed the Opera House in Sydney, Australia. 33 people got that wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Wow. Still static top 5, huh? Okay. Round of applause. (1986) is back in the game.
Excellent.
Next one. All right, almost perfect score. 7 people got that wrong. Round of applause to the people who got it right. Sugar glider is the highest climber. Up 4 places. Next one. All right, so it's the prime minister that has the power to call an election anytime before he or she is forced to call the election. So before 4 years run out. All right. 35 people got that wrong. I'm quite surprised, but anyways,
Now you know what you don't know.
on to the next one. That's a weak spot for you. All right. Some movement in the top 5. 2025 moved up a notch. Took the number 2 spot from Bell 29, ahead of Bell by 14 points. Let's see if that's going to last. Amal is back with an answer streak of 3.
Great job.
Next one. All right, this is a weak spot. So 61 of you got this wrong. This question is about the parliamentary principle that was created in 1901. And the principle is that a government cannot have a majority against it in parliament. And actually, this is the reason why majority of the governments in Denmark after the Second World War have been minority governments, because even though, say, a party can have more seats in parliament than other parties, they do not have a majority. So they have to form coalitions. Hope that made sense. On to the next one. Bell took her spot back. Imadias is back in the game with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Everybody should know this, right? Let's see. Wow, it's not Kong alone, right? 1849, 5th of June, 1849. Okay, Grundlovs Day. The constitution is called Danmarks Rigs Grundlov, 5th of June, 1849, signed by King Frederick VII. Right, on to the next one. All right, Aarhus. 9 people got that wrong. Fix it next time. Top 5 has been reshuffled. 2025 back at number 2. Margaret moved up a notch, and Baladai is now in the top 5. Jex is back in the game, 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. You saw this already, right? Yeah. So this question showed up in this session, slightly different, but it's about the same thing. 11 people got that wrong. All right, 1536, after the Civil War. I think it was Frederick, was it Christian III? Anyways, don't quote me on that. All this information is in the book. 1536, next one. All right, static top 5 again.
Static top 5.
Amy is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
She's on fire!
Almost at the end now. All right. So Harold Bluetooth wrote on the rune stones that he introduced Christianity to Denmark. And I think it was the year 965. That was a combo breaker. 3 players dropped the answer streak of 4. At the moment, we have Jenseman, 2025, Bell 29, Margaret, and Balladai in the top 5. How many questions do we have left? 17. All right, so in 2012, was it 2012? Yes, Denmark was the first country to make it legal for homosexuals to be married. That's what this question is about. 14 people got this wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Next one. Static top 5.
Static top 5.
Hilda is making a comeback with 3 in a row. All right, next one. This one should be a no-brainer, but let's see how you guys do on this. All right, I see there's 2 trolls in here today. Anyways, yeah, the obvious answer is yes, right? Next one. Fan is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
Next one. Okay, come on. Is someone gonna troll? Are you gonna troll me tonight? Let's see. All right. Static top 5.
Static top 5.
Mahar is the highest climber, up 4 places. All right, so Denmark is a representative democracy. What does that mean? It means that the people vote for the members of parliament, and then the members of parliament make decisions on behalf of the people that voted for them. So that's what that means. So I can see 60 of you got this wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Fix it. It will show up on your profile. Next one. Got static top 5. These guys are elite players. Round of applause. Dimitri is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. Of course, you know this, right? Okay, round of applause to 136 of you guys that got this right. Next one. 19 players hits an answer streak of 6.
Excellent.
Next one. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, remember that thing I told you guys to do, right? Make a list of all the political parties in parliament, the year that they were created, the leader, and the first time they were voted in to parliament, because they could ask about any one of those. This is a frequently asked question. Yeah, you must know the answers to these things. How many people got this wrong? 49. On to the next one. All right, static top 5 yet again. 3 players have an answer streak of 14. Well done.
Great job.
All right. Stavnsbåndet. So this is about when the peasants were, how do I explain this? So in 1733, the king made a deal with the landowners to force the peasants to stay in specific areas for at least 40 years. And this was to make sure that the landowners had people that could work the land and make them money, basically. But that was abolished 55 years late. Was it 55? 1788? Yeah. But anyways, that question will show up, but let's see if it's the next one, actually. Next one, Milad is now in the top 5. No, there isn't a definite number of ministers that the prime minister has to appoint. 29 people got that wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Static top 5.
Static top 5.
You've got Jenseman, 2025, Bell, 29, Margaret, and Milad. 3 players reached an answer streak of 11.
Excellent.
Next one. All right, so the regions are in charge of the hospitals and your health insurance. All right, next one. Man, nothing is happening in the top 5, eh? 7 players reached an answer streak of 10.
Excellent.
All right. Well done to that top 5. I talked about this already this evening, right? All right. So like I said, the government makes the proposal, and usually it's a ministry in the government, or it's usually actually a minister that makes that proposal. And then that proposal is debated 3 times. And the final time, there is a vote, and then the proposal is either accepted or rejected. All right. 31 people got that wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Next one. Static top 5. Round of applause to you guys. Agnes is back in the game.
She's on fire.
Excellent.
3 in a row. All right, so judges are not allowed to wear any religious symbols in a court of law. And that's because they have to be unbiased, right? Okay, 14 people got that wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Chris Will Pass is back with an answer streak of 3.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. We got 5 questions to go and we're done with this. All right, remember the list I asked you to write. Write that list, make that list. Okay, next one. Wow.
Wow!
No budging in that top 5. On to the next one. Okay, the answer is no. There's no death penalty in Denmark. 10 people got that wrong. Pardeep back in the game, 3 in a row. Almost at the end now. Yeah, you know the answer to this, right? The answer is yes. 32 people got that wrong. All right, so we have 3 questions to go. So far, we've had 2 frequently asked questions sessions. So part 1 and part 2. We're going to have part 3 and 4, and then we move on to the mock tests. And what I mean by part 3 and 4 is like, so on Wednesday, today is what, Sunday? Yeah. So on Wednesday, we'll have part 3. Then on Sunday, next week, we'll have part 4. And then we'll start with the mock tests. All right, Nikolai is making a comeback with 3 in a row. Well done.
Excellent.
All right, is there a limit to the number of times a person can be re-elected to parliament? The answer is no. As long as you can keep convincing your constituents to vote for you, you will always have a job in parliament. All right, 24 people got that wrong. It will show up on your profile and you can correct it. Okay, next one. 2 more questions and we're done for tonight. You know the answer to this, right? Some trolls again. Anyways, 7 people got that wrong. Static top 5. We have Yenzeman 2025, Bell 29, Margaret Millad. Um, Is it Jex? Okay. Okay, so we have one more question and we're done. DJ is back with an answer streak of 3.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Last question, and then we're done for tonight. All right. 8 people got that wrong.
Now you know what you don't know.
Podium time. Bell 29 at number 3. 2025 at number 2. And of course, Yenderman at number 1. And we have Margaret and Millard at 4-5. Let's see how the rest of you actually.
NearlyDanish.com.